Across the world, there are buildings that should be silent. Their doors are locked, their windows are boarded, their owners long gone. Yet people still hear footsteps, still see movement, still experience a chilling fear with no visible cause. These houses exist on every continent. They share no culture, no religion, no common history, yet the reports are strikingly similar. In this global paranormal documentary, we examine 15 of the most haunted houses on Earth, where unexplained activity has been recorded repeatedly, sometimes over centuries. These locations weren't chosen for rumors or internet myths. Each one is supported by historical records, multiple eyewitness accounts from unrelated people, independent investigations, and paranormal reports that repeat themselves over and over. What makes these cases so compelling is that often people who entered these houses had no idea about their reputations, yet they described the exact same events as witnesses who came before them. Our journey begins in Greece, on a cliff overlooking the Aegean Sea. Here stands the abandoned Athenodora house. For over 100 years, locals have kept their distance. Witnesses report hearing a woman screaming late at night, seeing silhouettes pacing behind the boarded-up windows, and even having stones thrown at them from inside the empty building. Greek historians link the house to a violent family murder that took place in the early 1800s. No one has successfully lived there since. Next, we travel to London, England, to Bruce Castle, a building that dates all the way back to the 16th century. Visitors to this historic site regularly report hearing crying coming from the tower, feeling sudden and inexplicable freezing temperatures, and finding doors unlocking all on their own. It's said that the ghost of Lady Constantia roams the castle, forever replaying her final tragic moments. These sightings have been consistent for over 300 years. From Europe, we cross the Atlantic to Lima, Peru, and the infamous La Casa Matosita. It's widely considered one of South America's most dangerous haunted houses. The reports here are terrifying. Some people claim to have collapsed within minutes of entering. Others hear disembodied whispers speaking directly to them, and many have witnessed the violent movement of furniture thrown across rooms by an unseen force. According to Peruvian records, the house was the site of a horrific mass poisoning, an event that drove the lone survivor to madness. Now we journey to India, near the cursed ruins of Bangar, where a private Haveli stands shrouded in fear. Caretakers and the few brave souls who have stayed nearby report loud, aggressive knocks after midnight, the distinct sound of a woman humming from rooms that are locked and empty, and shadowy figures that dart across the open courtyards in the moonlight. Throughout the entire region, it's an unspoken rule. No one remains inside after sunset. The Indian government has even officially restricted nighttime access to the area, a testament to the disturbing activity reported here. Back across the Pacific, we arrive in California, at the Whaley House. This location is unique because it's officially recognized by the United States government as haunted. The evidence is overwhelming. Witnesses have captured what they believe are full-bodied apparitions on camera. The sound of heavy footsteps on empty staircases is a common occurrence. Some visitors even report being physically touched, feeling a cold hand on their shoulder or a sudden push. The land itself has a dark history, having once served as a public execution site, and multiple tragic deaths also occurred inside the home itself. Our next stop takes us to the Canadian Rockies and the beautiful but eerie Banff Springs Hotel. We're not just looking at a haunted building, but one specific room, room 873. The stories became so disturbing that the hotel management permanently sealed the room off. Guests who stayed there described blood stains that would mysteriously appear and reappear on the walls, even after being cleaned. They reported seeing handprints forming on mirrors out of thin air. Most terrifying of all was the apparition of a family standing silently in the corner of the room. The room number has been removed and the door has been covered over, but reports of strange phenomena continue to come from the hallway just outside. In Southeast Asia, we find the old Changi Hospital in Singapore. Once a British military base, it was converted into a brutal prison camp during World War II and later became a public hospital. Its history is soaked in pain and suffering, and it's considered one of Asia's most active paranormal locations. Visitors exploring the decaying building report seeing the apparitions of soldiers walking the long, dark hallways. The sound of blood-curdling screams echoes through the empty stairwells, and medical equipment, left to rust for decades, has been seen moving on its own. Returning to Europe, we visit the magnificent Brissac Castle in France. It is the tallest castle in the country and home to a famous ghost known as the Green Lady. She was a noblewoman murdered within the castle walls centuries ago, and her spirit is said to remain. Witnesses have described a truly terrifying figure of a woman in a green dress, but with a decomposed face and dark, hollow eye sockets. Her mournful weeping is often heard at night, and massive chandeliers have been seen swinging violently without any wind or physical cause. The staff today still avoid certain wings of the castle entirely after dark. Now we go to Ireland, to the ruins of the Hellfire Club Lodge, perched atop a prehistoric burial ground. The lodge gained its dark reputation in the 1700s as a meeting place for a group of elites who reportedly engaged in occult rituals and debauchery. The activity here is notoriously aggressive. Visitors have had stones thrown at them by unseen forces, heard deep, animal-like growls coming from the darkness, and seen tall shadow figures that seem to approach them before vanishing. The site's history of sacrilege and dark practices seems to have left a permanent stain. Next, we fly to the other side of the world, to the Monte Cristo homestead, widely known as Australia's most haunted house. The sheer volume and consistency of paranormal reports here are astounding. The ghostly figure of a woman in black is frequently seen roaming the halls. A particular rocking chair is said to move on its own every night at precisely 3 a.m. The heartbreaking sounds of children screaming have also been reported. Numerous paranormal investigations have documented these events, capturing audio and video evidence that defies easy explanation. From Australia, we travel to the continent of Africa, to a residence in Port Elizabeth, South Africa, known locally as Rhodes House. The paranormal activity here is so intense that most families who try to live there end up leaving within just a few weeks. They report hearing the unnerving sound of children laughing in the empty gardens, seeing strange figures appearing briefly in mirrors, and feeling the entire floor of the house shake violently without any explanation, like a localized earthquake. Then we head to Scotland and the legendary Glamis Castle, a royal estate steeped in dark secrets. For centuries there have been whispers of hidden rooms sealed away, concealing a terrible family secret. Legends speak of a horribly deformed heir who was locked away for his entire life, and his tormented spirit is said to haunt the castle. Apparitions have been seen on the battlements, and countless visitors have reported the unnerving sensation of being followed by phantom footsteps. These stories aren't new. They date back over 300 years. Our paranormal world tour takes us to the Caribbean, to Rose Hall in Jamaica, the former home of the infamous Annie Palmer, better known as the White Witch. Legend says she murdered multiple husbands and countless slaves, practicing dark magic within the estate. The reports from Rose Hall are chilling. Tour guides and visitors have heard screams coming from the old dungeons, witnessed objects moving on their own during tours, and some have even left with sudden, unexplained scratches on their skin. Even the most hardened skeptics report feeling an intense sense of dread and discomfort upon entering the property. Next, we investigate a lesser-known but terrifying case in the Netherlands, the Moor's Mansion. This house was abandoned after experiencing what experts describe as violent poltergeist activity. Witnesses who were there during the events reported furniture being thrown violently across rooms, dark, humanoid figures climbing the walls like spiders, and multiple investigators being physically injured by an unseen force. The house has remained empty ever since, deemed too dangerous for habitation. Finally, we return to England, to a place many paranormal researchers consider one of Europe's most feared locations, the ancient Ram Inn. Built on what is believed to be a former pagan burial site intersected by ley lines, the activity here is notoriously physical. Over the years, guests have reported being dragged from their beds by an invisible force. Others have witnessed crawling shadow figures that move low to the ground. The reports of violent physical encounters are so numerous that many paranormal teams refuse to investigate there. So what does this all mean? We've journeyed across continents, from Greece to Peru, from India to the United States. And in every location the same elements appear, a history of trauma, tragedy, or violence. Phenomena that repeat themselves, regardless of who is there to witness them, and descriptions from unrelated people that are remarkably consistent over decades, and sometimes centuries. These striking similarities challenge the idea of simple coincidence. Science, of course, offers explanations. Psychology can explain why we feel fear in dark, old buildings. Environmental factors like infrasound or drafts can explain some strange physical sensations. But neither of these fields can fully explain why completely different people, separated by time and culture, experience the exact same specific events in the exact same locations. Whether these phenomena are psychological, environmental, or evidence of something beyond our current scientific understanding, one thing is certain: these houses continue to produce fear, to tell a story, and to demand our attention. Perhaps some homes are not haunted by spirits in the way we imagine. Perhaps they are haunted by unresolved history. And as these 15 houses prove, history does not always stay silent. Thank you for watching. If you found this journey as fascinating as we did, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more deep dives into the world's greatest mysteries.